Hello everyone. Today let us see the suboccipital triangle. As we know, it is present on the back of the neck. It is present on the deeper aspect of the back of the neck. So while exposing the suboccipital triangle, we have to remove various muscles. So the first muscle, which is you can see here, which is present on the most superficial aspect on the back of the neck, a diamond shaped muscle, that is the trapezius. So we reflect the trapezius from its origin downwards. As we reflect it downwards, we come across a muscle which is going obliquely and laterally towards the sternocleidomastoid or onto the mastoid process. So this muscle, which forms the part of the floor of the posterior triangle also, this is the splenius capitis. So if we cut the splenius capitis from its insertion from the mastoid process and reflect it downwards, we will be able to see two muscles. One muscle is this one, which is going obliquely and laterally, and another muscle which is going straight upwards, this one. So there are two muscles in this plane. The one which is going laterally towards the mastoid process, this one, it is the longissimus capitis, and the one which is going upward straight, it is the semispinalis capitis. So now we reflect the semispinalis capitis, and the longissimus capitis is reflected slightly laterally. So this is the part of the longissimus capitis. So we are reflecting them very laterally. So now we come across a triangle, as you can see here, very cleanly dissected. This triangle is called as the suboccipital triangle. If I can just zoom it up for you, so let us see where is it is. So this is the suboccipital triangle. So we have reflected trapezius, splenius capitis, semispinalis capitis, and we have reached the suboccipital triangle. We can see below the suboccipital triangle, we can see a nerve. This is the greater occipital nerve. This nerve is the greater occipital nerve. Now what are the boundaries of this suboccipital triangle? On the supromedial aspect, here we have got two muscles. This muscle which is going slightly laterally, this is the rectus capitis posterior major, which takes place origin from the spine of the axis. And the one which is going straight, these fibers, as you can see very cleanly here, these fibers from the sides also, these are the fibers, these are the fibers of rectus capitis posterior minor. So this is rectus capitis posterior major, and this is rectus capitis posterior minor. So the one muscle which is lying supralaterally, extending from the knuckle lines, the area between the knuckle lines, onto the transverse process of the atlas. This muscle is the superior oblique. This is the superior oblique muscle. And the muscle which lies inferiorly, which is horizontally placed, attached between the spine of the axis and the transverse process of the atlas, this muscle is inferior oblique. So the suboccipital triangle is bounded by rectus capitis posterior major and minor, that is supromedially, superior oblique supralaterally, and inferiorly it is bounded by inferior oblique. So these are the boundaries of the suboccipital triangle. Now if you see the contents, or you can say the floor of the triangle, this part which you are able to see here, this bony part which you are able to see, this is the posterior arch of the atlas. This is the posterior arch of the atlas. On the posterior arch of the atlas, which I have cut open here, there was attachment of the posterior atlanto-occipital membrane. So having cut the posterior atlanto-occipital membrane, we can see the content of the triangle, that is the third part of the vertebral artery. This is the third part. This is the vertebral artery, and it is the third part of the vertebral artery, which you can see here very clearly. This part, this structure is the vertebral artery, this one. Okay, the first part is from the origin from the subclavian artery up to the foramina transversorium of the 6th cervical vertebra, then the second part throughout the 6th cervical vertebra, foramen transversorium, and then third part is where it arches over the atlas, on the atlas. This is which is seen in the suboccipital triangle. Apart from that, as per many various books, or which can be here seen very delicately, this is the dorsal ramus of the C1. So the contents of the suboccipital triangle includes the third part of the vertebral artery and the dorsal ramus of the C1. Slightly zooming it out so you can see the dorsal ramus of C1 very clearly. This is the posterior arch of atlas and this is the third part of the vertebral artery. So that is about the boundaries, floor and the contents of the suboccipital triangle. Thank you.